Okay, in this lesson, I want to talk about the idea of targeting specific notes when you're improvising. So targeting a landing point for your phrase, a note that your phrase is going to land on. Because by doing that, you can create a sense of direction when you improvise. You can create a sense of variation. You can take similar phrases and do different things with them to create a sense of continuity and structure to what you're doing and make your improvising sound cool and like you're doing things on purpose, even while you're making stuff up on the fly. So if you want to download the example I just played, you can go to the link below or the link on screen and sign up for my mailing list and download a PDF of the notation and tab. So in this example, I'm playing in drop D tuning. So D, A, D, G, B, E just means you take the low E string and drop it down a whole step or 2 frets to D. And the thumb is alternating 6th string, 4th string, 5th string, 4th string. And then for the notes that I'm playing on top, I'm basically playing D minor pentatonic, which from this note would be the 5th and the flat 7 and the root and the flat 3rd and the 4th and the 5th. So the opening phrase is targeting the 5th of D. So using this phrase, and to work out the phrase itself, you can sort of look at where the thumb falls. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and every place that you're playing on a strong beat or counting a downbeat like 1, 2, 3, or 4, you're pinching. You're playing the thumb and one of your fingers at the same time. Anytime you're on an and, one of your fingers is playing a melody note by itself. So 1 and pinch and pinch and pinch and. So you can sort of slowly work out first the bass, then the melody, then start putting them together by lining them up. So we're landing on the 5th here at the beginning, and then taking basically the same phrase and then landing it on the root. It's really all the notes are the same, except instead of sliding up, we're landing back on the root. And that alone is enough to create a sense of direction, because first you're climbing up and then resolving back to the root. And so now, instead of if we just repeated the idea the same way both times, it would sound like we're waiting for something to happen next. When you play the first phrase and then you resolve it back to the root, now it feels like a complete thing. It goes up and it goes down. Right? So now we've got more of an arc, like an idea. And then the third, in this particular example, there's a third way to think about it. We're climbing up the same way. And then, so really putting two ideas together here to make a longer phrase. Hitting the 5th and then coming back to the root, which seems to want to go somewhere. And in this case, we've taken the chord progression over to the A minor now. And so the A minor phrase, actually, you can break into 2 little pieces too. So on A minor, the thumb is just alternating right now between the 6th string and the 4th string. And we're playing these 2 phrases over it. So you can think of this as a short phrase. You could think of it as the end of that D minor phrase, or you could think of it as a short phrase on A minor, which we're then going to answer with a longer phrase that then resolves to D. So here's short version, just those 2 notes, and then repeat them but carry on and now land in a different place. So here's an A minor phrase that resolves to the root of A, and here's one that resolves to the root of D. And this is where targeting specific notes starts to really pay off, because this phrase gives you a sense of, we've landed on A minor. Cool. So it takes this phrase and lands it, but just in time to say, well, actually, taking it back to D. So this is a way to start giving your improvising a sense of direction, so that instead of feeling like you're just kind of filling up space and you're just kind of noodling your way through the scale, you can play specific phrases that target chord tones of the chord you're about to land on. Now, for most of this example, we're landing on D, and so we're landing on the 5th, we're landing on the root. We could land on the 3rd as well, but this is keeping it in the world of D. And now this is landing us on A minor and then back to D. So this idea of targeting specific notes can give your improvising a sense of direction, and it's a framework, so you can put other phrases into that framework and get similar results. So, if you're going to land first on the root and then on the 5th, you can take some other phrase and try to land it in two places as well. So here I'm starting, so the 5th and then the 4th, flat 3rd, root, flat 7, root. That lands on the root. And now I have to change it up a little bit. So there's the 5th, the flat 7. No, what am I doing? The 4th, flat 3rd, to the root, back to the 4th, and then up to the 5th. Right? So now let's see if we can land it on the A minor. Right? So you can start coming up with different phrases based around the phrasing of that opening lick, using a similar rhythm, landing in a similar place, landing on the root, then landing on the 5th. And it's just another way to put a little structure into your improvising. And as you're working out licks, trying to figure out what to work out, go, well, I want a lick that has this kind of pickup into the downbeat, and that lands on the root, but I want to do it in a different way than I've done it before. And then you just start looking for examples in the pentatonic scale. So it's just another way to, just another set of guidelines, so you don't feel like, it's just, you don't want to feel like you could do anything, because then it's overwhelming. So you want to narrow it down and say, well, this time I'm going to target these specific notes. Next time, maybe it's a specific rhythmic idea. It doesn't really matter as long as you have some particular way to narrow the field so you know what you're looking for and you have some specific things to practice. And then you can just gradually widen that pool of things that you're using to come up with licks, come up with phrases, and come up with ideas. So again, if you want to download that opening example, go to the link below, sign up for my mailing list, download the tab, and I'll see you next time.